Hi everybody, I'm Care from Care's Bakery in Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm going to show you how to make coconut cream chocolate covered eggs. So this is a super easy recipe. It just takes a couple of ingredients and it comes together really quick, so I think you're going to love it. Basically, all we're going to do is we're going to start off with a mixer and we're going to take half a stick of butter, which is 4 tablespoons, and half of a block of cream cheese. So it's 4 ounces of cream cheese and half a stick of butter, which is 1/8 of a pound. Just plop these two right into your mixer, and you want to make sure that they're both at room temperature. You don't want to start with cold butter or cold cream cheese, otherwise it's going to be really difficult to incorporate them. So I'm just going to pop this guy on here. Okay, put it down, start on low speed, and then you can just make it go a little bit quicker till it's combined. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Try to use a good vanilla extract if you can find it at the supermarket. You can get this pretty much at any local supermarket. It's a lot better than imitation vanilla. You can use imitation if you want, but if you use the real good kind, you'll notice the difference. Okay, so a teaspoon of vanilla, and you're going to do just a pinch of salt, which is about 1/8 of a teaspoon. Sometimes what I do is just use a 1/4 teaspoon and just try to, eyeball it, fill it up halfway. Just drop that right in there. So 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. And we're going to add 1 pound of confectioner's sugar. Now this is a little tricky. You want to add it just about a cup at a time. If you add it all at once, it's going to blow up in your face and you're going to have a lovely mess to clean up afterwards. So I'm speaking from experience. Start slow, just a little bit at a time. And it's going to be about 1 pound of confectioner's sugar total. So lock this down. So as you can see, the consistency, it thickened up quite a bit. And you can use a hand mixer if you have one, if you don't have one of these bigger ones, but it's a lot easier if you can just throw it all in here because it is a really stiff dough. So if you use a hand mixer, it might take a little longer and you don't want to short a fuse or something. Okay, so now that this is all set, the last thing we're going to add is a bag of shredded sweetened coconut. It's about a 7-ounce bag. So really what we're making is just a coconut buttercream filling. It's very, very easy. There's a lot of recipes that are just a simple standard buttercream. They all start basically the same way. And then you can add, coconut if you want to do that. You can add peanut butter if you want to make a peanut butter version. Chocolate if you want to do a chocolate buttercream. That would be delicious. This one though is fantastic. So mix it up, start slow, just the same as you did with the confectioner's sugar. Okay, and we're all set. So I'm just going to pull this off and scrape down the sides. And then what we're going to do is put it in the fridge anywhere from 20 minutes to, up to an hour, depending on, how warm it is and how humid it is outside. But you want to make it so it's firm enough so you can shape it. Okay, so we let our coconut buttercream chill a little bit, so it's a nice firm consistency. And what I'm going to do is use my 1.5-inch cookie scoop, or it's kind of like a little ice cream scoop. This is a great tool to have in the kitchen too if you're making cookies. It's awesome. It's a great way to make sure that they're all uniform size. And it's also good for stuff like this. If you don't have one, it's okay. You can just use a teaspoon. And basically all I'm going to do is scoop little balls and put them on this wax paper lined cookie sheet and put those in the fridge, let them firm up, and then I'm going to shape them into eggs after I pull them out. So just take a little ball like this, drop it right down, and they don't have to be perfect. You just kind of want to do it so it's a uniform shape or uniform size. Pop them down. Okay, so these just came out of the fridge. We've popped them in for about 20 minutes just so they can firm up. And I'm gonna just take them and form them into a little ball, and I'm gonna kind of do the best I can to shape them into a little egg. Now it's actually really easy to do. You just roll it in your hands like this, so it's a circle, and then you want to kind of make your hands a V to kind of make it a little bit narrower on one side, and that'll kind of make it an egg shape. And so once it gets down on the wax paper, you can, press it down or make it more egg-like. Just like that. And one trick, if the dough is still really sticky for you, something that you can do is take a bowl of just ice water and dip your fingers in the ice water so your hands are a little bit wet. Or even just take a cube of ice and run it in your hands real quick. And that'll really help it from sticking to your hands. So you can just roll it just like that and then form it into the egg shape. Okay, so now we have all of our eggs formed. And one other thing that you can do to kind of mix these up a little bit, make them even more special, is you could add toasted almonds. Now, what I did is to toast these up is just take some almonds and heat your oven to 350 degrees. Pop these in even before the oven gets to 350. It's okay. Just put them in. Leave them in there for about 10 minutes. And as soon as you can start to just barely smell them, they're done. You don't want to wait until your whole house smells like almonds, because that means they're basically burnt and they're not going to taste very good. So just maybe 10 minutes, keep an eye on them, and when they're a nice golden color, you'll know that they're ready. So what I did is I toasted these, let them cool, and I'm just going to take a couple and just press them into the top. You could do one or two. I'm going to try to do two. And this way, they're going to be kind of like those almond coconut candies that everybody loves, only way better. I promise you. So just put them in. And you want to press them down. You want to make sure that they're going to stick. Otherwise, when you dunk them in the chocolate, they might fall out. But just press them right in there on the top. So now what we're going to do is pop these in the freezer just for about 5-10 minutes so they firm up, and then we'll be all set to dip them in the chocolate. Okay, we just got these out of the freezer, and they firmed up a little bit. You want it to be kind of like a Play-Doh feeling, or like a silly putty, and then you'll know it's ready. Now what I have here is I just set up a double boiler with some dark chocolate, and a double boiler is basically just a pot of water. There's about 1/2 inch of water in the bottom. You really don't need that much. Heat it up over a medium to low heat until it starts to steam, and then you can put your bowl right on top of it and slowly melt the chocolate down. If you use dark chocolate, it usually takes a little bit longer. It melts down at a higher temperature than if you did a milk chocolate or a white chocolate, but make sure you keep an eye on it. You don't want to burn it. If you melt it too quickly, it could scorch on the bottom. And if you don't stir it enough, it could scorch on the bottom. I actually already started this, and it looks like it's ready to go. All the chocolate's melted. It's a nice, smooth consistency. And all I'm going to do is take our eggs, and I've got just, you can use 2 forks. You can buy dipping tools at a craft store. I've never really understood why you would do that. I mean, some people like them and it works great, but for me, a spoon and a fork works fine. And all I'm going to do is take each one, dip it in there completely, and put it right back on the wax paper. So I'm going to start with this guy. Take him, just dip him in, and use my spoon to just cover the top. And then I'm going to lift him out with my fork. Scrape off the bottom real quick, and just bring him right over and put him right on the wax paper. You want to work pretty quickly, otherwise you don't want the coconut to start to heat up on you. Just scrape the bottom of the fork off, bring it over, and place them right down. Okay, so if you want to, this is kind of up to you. One way you can decorate it is heat up another color chocolate, like a white chocolate or milk chocolate. You can put a little drizzle on there, or you can get just something like a sprinkles. You can use any color or other decorations you'd find in the baking aisle of a supermarket and jazz them up a little bit that way. Let me just take a wrapper off this guy. So you want to do it pretty much right after you dunk them in the chocolate, so the chocolate on the top is still sticky enough. And you can just put a little sprinkle in there if you want. So they stick. Okay, so what we did with these is just to help them harden up a little bit faster. I popped them in the freezer for about 5 minutes, and now they're ready to go. So you could serve them like this if you wanted to, but I'm gonna take a little paring knife here and just go around the edges, you know, with something like this, just to trim off the extra. One of the first things that you want to do though is just lift each one up and just make sure that the bottom is totally covered. You know, you don't want to, sometimes if you're new at this, or if the chocolate's not at the right temperature or thickness, you could see, you know, fork marks or something like that. If that happens, it's not a big deal. Just take a spoon and, you know, spread it right over the top. So just make sure that you can't see any coconut. There's nothing spilling out of these. They all look pretty good. Great. Okay, perfect. So now all we're going to do is just go right in and just kind of trim right around the edge. Okay, so we trimmed around the edges of some of these bigger guys, and what we are left with is a delicious looking and tasting chocolate coconut cream filled Easter egg. Here are the ones with the little sprinkles on them. So I hope you enjoy them.